Welcome back to another episode of the Breakup Diet. This is Yaz and Ilmz, and we've got an exciting guest on with us today. Lydia Mae, the breakup coach.
Hey guys, so excited to be here. Thank you for having me.
We're so excited to have you here. We need you. Like, you're going through a breakup. I've been through one and I'm still like hung up on him. Like, help.
No, I feel like I've come at the right time then. This is all good.
Perfect timing, some would say. It's honestly, you think that it wouldn't be that like hard to get over, I feel. Like, I actually feel like, well, I'm talking about me personally right now. I didn't think it'd be that hard, but I'm still like have days where I'm sad.
Let's switch it up.
We've been holding back way too much. Welcome to the Breakup Diet.
Yeah, and I think it's natural. I know people say this all the time, and sometimes I'm a bit like, oh, that phrase, but healing isn't linear, and it's like reminding yourself of that and like having compassion for those days. I think a lot of people are like, oh, why do I feel so bad? It's been a couple of days, I've been feeling good. And then suddenly you might have a setback, some people like to call it. But actually it's like, sometimes when you have those down days, they're actually the most powerful breakthroughs. Because when you have those down days, that's when you have to really feel to heal. So to have those, like when you're getting to those points when you're really holding on to those emotions and you're releasing them, you're letting them out, whether you're having a good cry or you are letting out for some frustration or anger, that's all a release of stuff that's stored in you, right? So it's always some form of breakthrough to have those negative emotions. And obviously it's amazing to have those days where you feel really positive and upbeat, but also those down days, I often remind my clients that they're not always the worst thing. In fact, in many ways, they can be the most powerful part.
So what do you do then? I don't know if do you have male clients as well?
I do. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
So they're not all monsters.
No, they're not. No. And actually, when I was going into this line of work, what was really interesting was, obviously I knew that the men went through breakups as well, but I just didn't think that men went through breakups quite how we did in that sense. I saw almost like, because obviously from my perspective, I was like, oh, you know, they're monsters, things like that. But it really isn't from my experience. When I have a bad experience, I'll be like, that's it, I'm done. But actually, men do go through breakups. And actually, you know, obviously this is a sweeping statement. It's not always the case, but sometimes men don't really talk to each other as much. And so I actually find that a lot of people that have been reaching out to me for support have been men. It's actually, I would say, an equal split between men and women.
I asked that question because obviously you said with like the breakthroughs, like it's a lot of crying and it's like a lot of talking, and typically what I've seen, like men don't seem to cry as much as women do.
They just follow a lot of girls on Instagram.
They do that.
For ego boost. Is that for ego boost?
I think there's lots of things that go on. Like, I think sometimes people act out of, if they want to kind of ignore their emotions and not really deal with what's going on, they might maybe jump to a rebound relationship or jump to something new quite quickly, or just completely ignore their emotions altogether and act like they're totally fine. I mean, women obviously do that as well, but I think it's been really interesting being a coach and having 50% male and female clients to really hear males' perspectives and the fact that they actually often feel like they don't speak to that many people about it, and that's why they seek help from maybe a therapist or a coach rather than, let's say, a friend. I was very surprised at how many male people were reaching out to me.
I have to ask you,
are any of them hot?
So I really do have a very firm boundary with that, because it's like almost like being like a coach. It's like, no, I'm here to help you.
That wasn't what my question was going to be.
No, never cross that boundary.
It was just over here horny, like, chill out. I was like over here ready to ask, like, I don't know, a meaningful question. Now I've forgotten it because you're like, are they hot?
Sorry, ask.
I don't know what it is now. It's gone.
But like, okay, in a serious note, it is nice to be able to humanize men, because I'm on such a like man hate journey that I feel like they're mean. They dump you, then they move on really fast. They don't care about you. Like, once they're done with one body, they move on to the next. I just feel like, do they like women?
I'm going to add to that. Sorry, I'm going to add to it, because you feel like they break up, even if you've had a nice relationship, they break up and then they're instantly, you know, out in the clubs or out in the bars or following those girls on Instagram. And it makes you just feel like the nice person that you remember when you were with is just didn't even care, even if they were the more emotional one in the relationship.
Absolutely.
And that's why it's so confusing. Like, why do they do that?
It can really be a coping mechanism. It really is. It's like almost like that suppression, like, because you absolutely, they go through the same process as women. Like they feel that void. It's naturally, whether the breakup ending was right or not, you still form an emotional connection and attachment to someone, right? So even if it's the right thing that you part ways, or maybe you want to like bargain and get back with them, it doesn't matter. Irrespective of that, you form that connection. So everyone has that process of detachment, and our brain really craves what's familiar. So even when we break up with someone, we still might be seeking them and seeking that support. So people might go out and try and find it early on in other avenues. They might go out and maybe get with lots of people, or they might just do more self-destructive behaviors and things like that to try and cope and fill that void and have that quick connection.
I just couldn't think of anything worse.
To sleep with someone new.
Sleeping with someone.
Like a whole new connection, building that, be vulnerable all over again, let your guards down. Yeah. I'm 2 years on and I still don't know how to let my guards down.
Yeah, and I think that's natural as well. I think when some people go through breakups, they want to move on quite quickly. And I think that's like, it is okay to date quite soon afterwards. Absolutely. Like if you feel like you're ready to, but also like, I think there's something really beautiful about taking your time after a breakup to really go back to the drawing board and be like, okay, who am I now without this person? Like, what are my values now? This is something I do with my clients a lot. We'll go, right, sit down. What is important to you? Because what might have been important to you if you're in a 6-year relationship, what might have been important to you at 22 might not be important to you at 28 now, right? So it's about really helping to like rediscover who you are independent outside that relationship. That really helps. And being single for a bit after a breakup is a really beautiful time to do that, because you learn to become your own support system as well.
Okay, but now I'm in this phase where I'm like, okay, I've discovered myself. I love who I am, the best I've ever like looked, felt, all that.
Amazing, love that.
But how do I like get back into the game?
About like sort of letting your
guards down. Hang on, let's stop this for a sec.
Subscribe and follow The Breakup Diet. You don't want to miss another episode.
Ask yourself those questions. Okay, what is it that I am nervous about? And almost like writing it, journaling it and saying, okay, I would like to go on a date with someone. What's like the worst case scenario? What am I really scared that's going to happen? Write it out for yourself. So you almost like putting it, instead of letting it just kind of like bubble up there, you're really getting it out in the open and being like, okay, this is what my fears are.
Recently, all these connections that I'm seeing around me, they just seem so temporary. Like, yeah. I feel like I'll never be able to put my guard down, because by the time I do, he'll have left me.
One key thing I would say is like, having boundaries and like not being afraid to set them, and just knowing, okay, well, I'm going to start dating again, but I'm going to, let's say, be really transparent with the guy who I go on a date with, like, not the first time, the second that you meet them, you're not going to say, like, I guess, like,
I'm not having sex with you too.
I might.
Or you say that I am dating with the intention to meet someone. I'm not saying it has to be you, but I'm just saying like that is my intention of dating right now. And I think what I'm finding, certainly with a lot of my friends, is that like people are going out and they're dating, and people seem to be being a little bit more transparent. I know my friends certainly are about, okay, I know we're going on a date, and not to like scare you off, like maybe a couple of dates in, but be like, by the way, I am dating with the intention to eventually have a partner, or I am dating sometimes. If you want to be transparent, if you're dating just to sleep with someone, again, like, okay, like that's also fine, but it's like being transparent about like your boundaries and like what you are expecting and your intentions for dating. And then I guess that other person has the option to say, we're not aligned in that way, like I'm not looking for that. And I think certainly a lot of my friends I've spoken to have had conversations recently where they've saved themselves a lot of time because they've realized that they weren't aligned with their dating goals as the person they're going on a date with. So they've like kind of said, okay, called it quits.
Do you think you have to go on a few dates to actually know if you fit?
I think it can be arranged, because I've known people to go on a first date and like have that instant, I think the spark thing is what can cloud everything. It's like, okay, I didn't feel that complete full body like crazy spark. That means that we're not compatible. And I think there are some people that can be slower burn. It's like you have people that are in really good friendships and then it grows into a really beautiful relationship. And people often say best foundation for a relationship is to have a good friendship as well. So they're kind of more slow burn, which would be a couple of dates, let's say. But sometimes you do have that instant spark. For myself, to be less fixated on that like crazy instant spark, and just like for me, it's like being really aligned in values and having that like feeling like I'm connected and I feel safe with them. I feel safe and secure and feel like I can be my most authentic self.
With somebody that like knows that their breakup wasn't right, but is still struggling to let go of them, what would you say to do?
I would say for this one, to write a list and have it, you can have it on your notes app, you can have it in your journal, but like a list of the reasons why you broke up. And it doesn't even have to be that you made that decision. It could be that they did, but write about almost like, not to be negative, but like write about all the things that were really challenging in the relationship. And like, also you can write on the other side, like your values and what's important to you, and like maybe write about ways that they didn't align. And it's not to kind of point the finger and blame someone and say what you're doing, how they behaved was wrong and I was in the right all the time. But it's more to be like, okay, like, yes, I might miss them, but we're not right for each other for these reasons. And having that, it's like helping you take those rose tinted glasses off and to stop romanticizing the relationship.
Yeah, because that's what happens when you go through a breakup. It's so weird. You just remember
it's all about
the
the what ifs and the good stuff and all these fantasies and not the actual reality. Yeah.
And then you're like, oh my God, like, why? And then you're like, actually, I wasn't happy.
Yeah.
Exactly. But you have to, it takes a lot of reminding. Like, you have to just go, okay, well, I'm feeling like I'm really missing them, which again is okay. But then being like, okay, these are the reasons. You go through those phases of breakups. There's often like shock and denial. And then there's kind of like a bit of like maybe anger and frustration. Then there's that bargaining phase, right? Where it's like people want to start going.
The worst phase.
Exactly. It's when the reality is kind of here and it's like sinking. And then our brain, obviously, as you mentioned, craves what's familiar. So it starts like trying to claw back and get everything back to that familiar normal state, which was being in a relationship with them. That's the toughest phase.
That is for sure the toughest. Yeah, I agree.
That came pretty fast for me. And then it was like pretty long. Finally, not in it now, but I was for a long time.
What helped you get out of that bargaining stage?
I think time, knowing that it's not like, which sucks. And also I actually looked back on my notes. So this is really bad. And this wasn't to like be mean. And I didn't do it every time. But when I felt quite bad in our relationship about something, just the way that it made me feel, I had dotted it down in my notes app. And I like saw it and I like read them.
Okay, and it's like it's just about having like a really raw, authentic moment with yourself going, okay, they might not have known that what they did hurt you in certain situations, but being like, and also they could probably have a list about you as well.
Yeah,
like,
doubt it.
Are you sure? We're perfect.
I think they'd be making lists, but like, do you know, it's one of those things where it's like no one is perfect. And like I've done a lot of reflecting on my last relationship, and I look at it now. At the beginning, I was like, oh, I was really angry and I was thinking about all the things that they'd done to wrong me. But it's not, again, it's like, it's really not about a blame thing. It's about framing it as like, okay, how can I grow from this? Like, how can I grow from learning about what I need more in a relationship, what my boundaries are in a relationship, what is important to me? But then also, okay, what did I do? How did I act in a way that maybe I want to do differently next time? So again, like looking at it from a very self-compassionate lens and not like blaming yourself for anything you've done, but just looking at it as an incredible growth opportunity.
How many breakups have you had?
Three like proper boyfriends, but situationships. I mean, I don't know how I couldn't count. The last breakup was after a 4-year relationship. So that was like my longest term breakup. So that was kind of the one that's been, I guess, was the biggest experience of going through all the motions, all the stages, and took me the longest to get over.
That was my next question. I was going to say, do they get easier?
It really varies. I think every relationship is totally different. And like, I guess it's the circumstances. Is it something that you wanted? Is it a mutual decision? Was there still a lot of love there? Or did you really drift apart at the end? Like, it really there's a lot of varying factors. I'd say for me, the last breakup was the hardest because of the length of time that we were together. But then also we lived together, had a dog together, like, you know, all those like kind of things, which made it even more of like, that was my normal, and then to have it pulled away was really difficult.
How did you rebuild your life after?
I moved to London for a little bit, and I think being with like friends who also, funnily enough, going through breakups as well, I think that was really good to have that connection of people that were at a similar stage. Don't get me wrong, at the beginning I didn't do the things that I would advise doing, right? So I think it's almost like the reason why I'm become a coach and I like to give advice about what not to do is because I did the things that you don't do, right? So like, I think throughout that process, I started to like, you know, think, okay, I'm going down this spiral now. What, like, I was at a crossroads. Do I like keep going there and like ignoring how I'm feeling? Or do I have a really honest look at like where I'm at and throw everything I can at like my healing and really like working through this? And so luckily I went the other way, which was good. And then that led me here to becoming a breakup coach. So life throws curveballs, breakups and curveballs.
So when you say you threw everything at like the healing, what does that mean?
I got to a point where I had lost like all hope, and I wasn't actually a very spiritual person at all when I was going through my breakup. But I had a friend who traveled India, and she'd gone to Goa, and she'd had Reiki, which is like an form of energy healing. And she said to me, just try Reiki. Like it really helped me through my challenging times of life. And I was like, not really on board with Reiki. Like, don't really get it. bit weird, like don't understand it. But she was like, what have you got to lose? And I think sometimes when you go through a breakup, you can feel this sense of hopelessness that you're almost like willing to be like, I'll try anything. Like I'll try anything that I think will help me. So I'd start doing Reiki. It like my first session just completely changed my life. Like something 180'd in me. And I had like a really big release throughout the session. And from then I remember going home to my mum and her being like, something shifted in you.
I've gotten goosebumps.
It was crazy. Like it was a really incredible experience. And I'm not saying that every time someone has Reiki, like they might have this like really intense like release and things like that. But what I am saying is like, it's powerful, helps you release blockages in your body. And obviously I had a lot of blockages around my heart area with the heart chakra. Then on top of that, lots of journaling, lots of exercise, things like that, to just like pouring into your own cup and doing things that also build you up and bring you joy is really important.
So when you say release, do you mean like, how does it manifest? Do you cry it out?
For me at the time, like I cried so much. Like I went in and I was really like tense and jittery. But then throughout the process, I was very much like crying, releasing, felt like kind of tingles and warmth in my body and cool as well. And again, like not everyone will have sensational experiences like that. But yeah, it was.
This is somebody doing it to you,
yes,
right?
Yeah. So with Reiki, you channel.
I've had it.
Have you?
Yeah.
Wow, okay.
So I had a panic attack when I was, sorry, this is off topic of breakups, but you just remind me, because I was trying to work out whether I had like something else, but I definitely have had it, because I remember laying on the bed and he was like, I'm going to clear something. I had my eyes shut and he was like, I could hear him like moving his hands or whatever, but my eyes were shut and whatever. Anyway, I remember it felt like a hairbrush with the bristles were being like pushed onto my head like this, like face, so the bristles going into my head. And I looked up and his hands were like up here. And so that must have been that.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah.
And it was for a panic attack and I've never had one since.
So what I do with my coaching is like, by no stretch is it like pressure, because some people like aren't up for Reiki, and that's absolutely fine. But for me, I offer it. Get them to tune into their body as well and be like, hey, I'm like, if you think about the breakup right now, where are you feeling that in your body? And they might be like, my chest or my stomach, my solar plexus area, which is here. I think that's what's really powerful about it, is you help people release things that are holding them back, release those obstacles that are going on in their body. And that's, I think, the best way to get over breakups is like nervous system regulation, like making your body feel safe. It's so big. One of my biggest tips for going through a breakup, and whenever I tell people this, they laugh, but it genuinely is, I think, one of the main things that moved the needle with my healing journey, apart from Reiki, of course, which I just didn't talk about 20 minutes, but dancing. What I would say is like putting on, this is what I genuinely tell my clients to do, put on your like a song that just makes you really happy. Bonus points if it's something that made you happy as a child. It's like tapping into your inner child as well. But putting your headphones on, you can go into your room, lock the door, go into the bathroom and literally just dance. Like don't overthink how you're being. You're just dancing for yourself. You're dancing to like shake any stagnant energy off your body. It really is powerful because you're releasing blockages as you're doing that. You're also regulating your nervous system. So you're letting your body know that you're safe. And the more that you let, after a breakup, your body know that it's safe, the more it actually helps the process of like, I guess, detachment as well, because you're making your body feel safe without them.
That's so interesting. We've never heard about that.
All right, we got to start hitting the club, babe.
Yeah. But also, if you've got a lot of like anger and frustration in you, it's like, you know, when like dogs like shake as well, like people, like animals shake, it's a really big thing. Like if you just like have a full body shake, like they call it like somatic shakes, like we just shake out all the stress.
It's gonna be us, like
we're gonna start dancing on our TikToks. Yeah.
Every morning, like I'll wake up and just start like kicking my legs, like shaking, and I was like, and then I have this moment where I'm like, God, I've changed so much. Like the past few years, like I started getting all my friends to do it as well, and they're like, at the beginning, everyone finds it kind of funny, and then they're like, actually, I did that dancing thing, and it's like the best thing ever. I'm like, yes, exactly. This stuff works. Like,
oh, I'm so excited to try this.
Yeah. So am I. Okay, so what's something that you tell someone to change their mindset? So when they come into you and they're really struggling with their breakup, is there anything that you can tell them that like helps them initially have a mindset reset?
Granted, this can be hard to do at the beginning. Like it's not always easy to just like view it like this, because you have to have time to like grieve the relationship and just be pissed off basically. But as you've taken time to heal and process, instead of looking at it as like, okay, I'm such a victim of this situation, being like, okay, how can I grow from, it's like we were saying earlier, like how can I grow from this? How can I learn from this? And actually, I think people often come into our lives for a reason, a season, or a lifetime, right? And sometimes when people come in for a reason or a season, sometimes the people that we end up with are mirrors to us, and they can actually trigger us in a lot of ways. But that's like highlighting wounds that we might want to like dig up and deal with. So there's like always a growth opportunity there. Like, what is it teaching me?
What would you do for somebody that's like, can't stop stalking and looking at their stuff, because it's actually really bloody hard not to. We always say don't stalk.
We stalk.
I'm an FBI agent. Like, someone should hire me because I will work out stuff that I shouldn't know. And it's kind of fun. And that, I think, is a massive problem. Like, why is it kind of fun to, like, be like, oh, I was right?
It's like a heroin hit. I hate it. I feel dirty afterwards.
That's what makes you feel dirty afterwards.
Firstly, having, again, compassion. Like, okay, that was something that is very common to want, right? Because you're craving, again, what's familiar. You're like trying to have that emotional connection with them, even if it's just through like social media and things like that. I would always advise in the early stages about like blocking and muting, because I really do think at the beginning it's really powerful. And like I guess people mute sometimes, but then they'll just like go on
or block them and then go on a fake account.
So, muting doesn't work for most people. It's got to be like a block. But also I want to like reiterate that it's like that it's like, it's not petty. Like people sometimes are like, is blocking petty? It's like, it's not petty. It's actually self-care, and it's like really like protecting your energy in that way. And like ask yourself, okay, how I did this last time, how did I feel after I did it? Did I feel amazing, or did I feel a bit bad?
I've actually made massive steps. Really? I have not stalked him in literally like 2 weeks.
Hey,
well done, Yaz. Whereas before I would.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, I know. I'm very impressed with myself. And I also have a website. So if anyone wants to know, I have a website to see who they recently followed. So I was deep in the
stalking.
Deep in the hole of that. But I haven't used that. I haven't looked at the stuff, and I'm thriving.
Well done.
How do you feel towards yourself now that you've done that?
For me, that in my head that I'm not wanting to do that, I'm like, wow, I'm actually maybe grieved enough, and I don't want any more like pain.
But you've sent a really clear message to yourself that you can go without it. You don't need it. Like you can still function day to day without having to check it. Like you're sending a really clear message to yourself and to the universe as well, that like, you know, you don't need it. I think that's what stalking socials can be. It's like having a wound and like a plaster and like peeling it off every 5 minutes to see if it's healed. I'd always say to people, do like set yourself a 30-day countdown and like have it on your phone and be like, okay, at 30 days, if I want to, I can. It gets to the point where someone will get to those 30 days and be like, they'll be like, oh, I've come so far, like I don't want to give in now, like I've done so long. So it's often like takes the weight, but also it makes it feel less scary. Like whatever it is, like celebrate those small like weekly wins of like not checking or doing no contact.
I didn't even set it as an achievement. I just forgot to do it, and then I was like,
good.
Well,
that's even better. That means that it's like not even playing on your mind. It's like it's becoming like less of like a conscious decision to be like, I'm not going to, and just more of a like, I'm great without it.
I'm quite manic. I might not show that I'm manic, actually. Like I might be acting chill on the outside. I'm not chill on the inside, right? And then I do it so much that once I just don't care. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you get it out of your system, and then you feel like, ugh, I don't need to do that again.
No, yeah, now
I'm not curious anymore.
Yeah, it's the same thing. I've seen so many girls being followed, so it's like, I don't need to see any more girls
it's just like boring now.
Now I'm like, okay.
That's what people always check first. It's not, I didn't check the grid, I checked.
Oh, no, nothing about his grid. It was all on who he's following.
Right, and we all do it, but not letting it get out of hand. It's like part of your morning ritual, you wake up, check their socials, but I think a lot of people.
Yeah, it does become a routine, which is so horrible. Like it's like it's like, oh, haven't done that yet, let's go.
So something's missing today, what haven't I done? Asked.
But yeah, what would you do with somebody if they like have just found out that their ex has moved on and they've, you know, done all this progress, felt really good, and then like whenever it happens,
it's like a kick to the stomach. You're like, oh wait,
yeah,
they moved on so quickly.
Yeah. And I think when people see that their ex is moving quickly, I think it can obviously be really painful because it like stirs up a lot of like, okay, was I not enough? I'm feeling all this pain and I'm not nowhere near at that point. How can they be at that point and I'm not? And it makes you feel like, okay, well, is there something wrong with me? And we kind of really personalize the experience. I think it kind of, not all the time, but I think sometimes it's actually can be a little bit more ego driven than heart driven. Because actually happens to quite a lot of my clients, like during the process of us doing this breakup coaching, so they'll come to me at the beginning and then that might happen throughout the process, is I like say, use this right now as a way to choose yourself more fiercely. So I was like, right, now it's not about them anymore. It's almost like I feel like it gives you a layer of closure, even though it can be really painful. It can be a massive sting. I think it really does help you shut the door even more. And like, yes, it can be painful to have a bit of hope ripped away. Like, okay, they've moved on with someone else. But I actually think long term it does the world of good because it stops making you play on the what ifs. It's more of a like, okay, well, they're actually moving on now.
Going back to this beginning with men and women. So do men tend to feel it later?
I have absolutely heard what you've said, that people sometimes it'll be like a male thing that they might jump into something quicker. But I guess like I've also known a lot of females, girls, to do the same and like jump into rebounds. I guess it really just depends on where people are at in themselves and whether they're ready to, I guess, face those painful parts and like face their emotions in that way, rather than, you know, I guess like filling a void in many ways.
Yeah, like I had a rebound immediately after my divorce, and when that ended, that's when I came to terms with the fact that, oh, like I'm divorced. Yeah. You know, like the husband's gone, everything's gone, I'm by myself, like shit, where do I like start now? Yeah, like I genuinely felt like my life started 2 years ago when I was completely single, actually just had no choice but to focus on myself and like heal.
Yeah, you kind of almost get forced into it. Like,
yeah.
But you've learned now probably through having a bit of time being single that like you are okay by yourself. And having that knowledge and going through life knowing that no matter what happens, I'm actually sweet.
Oh my God, yeah.
Myself, like I'm okay.
It's the best.
It takes time to learn, for sure. And that's why I think a lot of people are very nervous about dating people that have just come out of relationships. So they're like, hang on, have you healed and moved on from that partner, or is that going to rear its head again? And you're going to start processing that breakup delayed when we're together going out. It's a really hard thing to navigate, but I think trying to realize that maybe the narrative that we run with isn't always correct.
I feel like words can only mean so much. When their actions don't follow those words, it's basically manipulation. You were getting manipulated. Sorry. Yeah. End off.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely, yeah.
It's hard also. I just feel like with the breakup, people deal with stuff so differently.
People do act in different ways. You're right with breakups. They have some people want to go, right, straight away, like I'm going to really like, some people isolate completely, right? Some people might think, I don't want to speak to anyone. Some people will just start trying to do some healing work and do some soul searching. Other people might just run to someone else. So it really is. But I think it's what's difficult is when people aren't acting, your ex-partner isn't acting the same way you are.
Yeah.
We were together in the relationship. Why are you acting a way that I can't even fathom doing right now, you know?
Yeah. It's like some people also go out drinking and want to do this. I'm not like that. I'm the opposite. I like to be at home.
I think one of the things I do say to my clients is like, don't like try not to isolate yourself. Like if you need help, like reach out to people, reach out to me, or reach out to family and friends. I think some people don't want to be a burden to their friends in many ways. Like I don't want to keep boring them with me going through my breakup. I'm like, no. Like, how would you feel if your friend was struggling? They were looking at you and like saying, oh, I don't want to bother them. How would you feel? And they'd be like, I'd be really annoyed. I want to support them. I'm like, it's the same way with you. Like, lean on your support system when you're going through it.
Our breakup, I think, was actually for the best and like for both of us, but it still hurts so much. And I think my reason is because of the communication being so different. Yeah. What are some other people's like
things that people struggle with? Self-esteem after a breakup. I think it can really like knock people's self-esteem. So that's a big one people want to work on. And loneliness. A lot of people feel quite lonely. Yeah, I think that's definitely like loneliness and self-confidence are the biggest challenges, alongside sometimes people will come to me when they've found out that their ex has moved on, because that will kind of knock them quite a bit and be like, right, I'm going to choose me now. I'm going to try and get help and try and work through this in the healthiest way possible. Okay,
I do want to end the episode in a positive note.
Of course.
What's been like the best success story you've had with your clients?
So this might sound really cliche, but genuinely every single client to me, like they are a success story in their own right, to themselves, right? It's their success. Like they have done all the work. So for me, I would say, and this again makes me emotional when I think about some of my clients that have come to me and filled out their forms of like their consultations, and the way that they've spoken about themselves on the first few calls that we've had has been like obviously like lots of self-deprecation and negative talk. And then to hear them couple of sessions on having really moved the healing needle in their healing journey and being like speaking like, I am worthy, I do deserve more, and I am good enough. And like hearing people say that when they were once saying the complete opposite genuinely gives me chills. And that's why I do what I do, because it lights me up so much to see people go from a place where they really are talking to themselves so badly to like having the most beautiful narrative in their head about themselves. And also they have their goals in the consultation form they fill out when they're like getting a discovery call with me, and they'll be like, my goal is to be hopeful about the future, let's say. And then to see them actually be that and be like, look, this is what you put, you know, although like maybe a couple of months ago, like now you're like, look what you're saying today about how excited you are to move here or do this. And it's like the most beautiful thing to witness someone go through that and be like, breakups are really not the end. They are a new beginning in their own right. So yeah, I think it can be a really beautiful journey.
That was so beautifully said. And I feel like, okay, my life's not over because I'm like this divorced old hag.
You're not old and you're not a hag and you're not...
I say the hardest chapters, like a breakup, can often be followed by the most beautiful chapters.
Thank you so much, Lydia. This has been amazing.
Yeah, so insightful.
Thank you, guys.